Hello, welcome back to the Otafest podcast.
The Otafest podcast.
Time. I'm Jay, and with me is Angelo.
I'm Angelo.
And Angelo.
And
Jay.
We did this joke last week.
But this time it's real. It's the boys.
The boys. The two of them.
Yeah.
That's the 1+1 right there.
That's us. We are just broing around this podcast because reasons. And we miss you, Nancy.
She will be missed.
But she'll be back.
Oh, perfect. Good.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Oh,
No
she's
stress.
just at
No
work
stress.
today.
How was your week?
Work was busy.
Uh-huh.
Sunday, I had to go to a funeral. It was sad.
Mm.
And that is why Nancy's not here. Not because she was at the funeral, but because...
That really makes the she will be back part really weird, too.
But no, because that impeded with our regular recording time.
Yeah.
But because of that,
It's
holy
okay.
shit, things happened and we get to talk about them.
Yeah. Lots of stuff happened. So we should probably dive into it. It was a busy week and bit.
So tell me about
oh.
this Tokyo game show. What is that a game show in Tokyo?
Yes. Actually, I wonder how central in Tokyo it is.
I've actually never...
Because
I don't think I've
actually
heard of it or paid attention to it in the past.
Yeah.
Is it
because-
basically just like Japanese E3?
Sort of. First of all, I actually know this, and I shouldn't have said it takes place in Tokyo. It actually doesn't take place in Tokyo. It takes place in Chiba, and I knew that.
Is Chiba not a ward of Tokyo?
No, Chiba is I think it's across the bay from Tokyo.
So it's kind of like Halifax and Dartmouth.
I have no idea, but probably sure. It's
That's
like
the thing. Because you've heard of Halifax, you haven't heard of Dartmouth. They're basically the same city, but they're across the bay from each other.
I think by like train, it's probably an hour
Okay.
away. Like, I don't think they're like, I can't really say because like I definitely don't know, but in the sense that like a lot of major cities tend to have sort of like greater areas. Chiba might be considered part of the greater area of Tokyo, but it's definitely not Tokyo. That's something
fair.
I know for sure.
That's fair.
But I will actually say that the reason I know that TGS is not in Tokyo proper is because, oh my God, it's been 3 years already since I went to Japan. When I went at the time, one of our good friends actually went to TGS at the same time, but I didn't know that TGS was happening at that time. And he was like, oh, let's meet up in Japan. And we did. But he was like, why? I was like, why are you there? He's like, because I was at TGS in Chiba.
Nice.
But anyways. Yeah, so TGS is a thing.
Final Fantasy news.
Yeah, lots of Final Fantasy news. Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, kind of got, there was some. It wasn't the first announcement, but there was like definitely a lot more information.
A Final
that's sort of
Fantasy
like,
1 spin-off.
Yes,
I'm
looks real
invested in this because I have played Final Fantasy 1.
I have not. Actually, no, that's not true. I've played some, but I have never finished it.
So I didn't play the original Final Fantasy 1. I played the Game Boy Advance re-release of Final Fantasy 1 and 2. Apparently that included not just an art update, but a lot of quality of life
Probably
enhancements as well.
You had
For
it
example,
good.
I didn't know this, and I honestly, this might have been complete hearsay or misunderstanding from a friend. Apparently in Final Fantasy 1, you didn't have mana or MP or something like that, but instead you could use the spells so many times.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Dawn of Souls, the Game Boy Advance remake, did away with that and went with traditional MP.
Smart move.
But I remember Final Fantasy 1. It was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. Having that said, without like a strategy guide or like a game guide, certain parts of it were just like, what the hell are you talking about? What are you trying to do? What is it? What is the game? Where is the game sending me? And that was an issue with like a lot of old games because they literally didn't have the space for the text on the cartridge. They basically
for more,
had
like
to make
signage or like directionality or NPCs to direct you.
But I did eventually beat it. I defeated Chaos, and holy shit, that was a hard fight. That was my fault for bringing a red mage from the start instead of a white mage. But
you can't just go in between. You got to commit to one or the other.
I know that now. I know that now. But like when I was starting out, I was like, hell yeah, I want a fighter. I want a black mage. I want a thief. And red mage can do damage and healing. That's even better.
Mm-hmm.
That was not even better.
Specialists. Specialists are required.
Yes.
Yeah, but this being a spin-off, I am looking forward to it for several reasons. Just sort of like I have not played a lot of the modern Final Fantasies, but I do have a lot of fond memories regarding like old Final Fantasies and like class systems, as you were explaining, and like I don't know. I like obviously this is going to be a much more modern take. I get,
of course,
but I mean it looks fantastic, and I think it'll be probably a pretty interesting like take on what they've already done within like the first Final Fantasy. I just hope that this is not the beginning of a trend for them, though, that they're like not trying to all of a sudden delve too deeply back or try to retcon old Final Fantasies into like the new Final Fantasy world.
Well, when you consider it, oh god, what was the name of like the theme of the last few Final Fantasy things? But
That's
there was Final Fantasy 14, there was Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
There was 13, where they were all like in this world where there's crystals, and that was like the guiding philosophy
Chronicle?
of each world. Not Crystal Chronicles. I don't think this was part of it. But
That's weird,
where the
but
world, even though they weren't the exact same world,
Right.
they had the same kind of rules around the world building, as it were, where they were like a large mana crystal per continent or something like that. I don't know. Dio, I wish Dio was on for this part because she
could set you right.
deep in the lore. She's deep in the lore. But Final Fantasy 1, because of the limitations it had in just the cartridge and everything, they did have a lot of lore for what they could, but everything else was so open-ended because the system requirements, right?
Right.
So they have so much room to grow with a little framework to guide them along. I think it could be good.
Yeah, like I said, it looks fun. I wonder if it will be sort of like I did not see like a spin-off sort of coming from a IP as old as Final Fantasy 1. So that's why I am sort of wondering if like there is sort of they have maybe like a team that's sort of dedicated into like how they can expand on their oldest
anyone who actually
IPs,
played
but I'm not really
Final
sure.
Fantasy 1, when it was relevant, they're like in their mid 40s to early 50s now.
They're dead.
Many of them, yes.
Jesus. Also true.
But otherwise, what's up next? We've got Chocobo Racing. I've heard about this before.
Well, it is the racing of the Chocobos.
Yes.
In the Grand Prix of style.
I can't remember. Is it almost like a
GP.
kart racing game?
No, I mean, there's no carts.
I mean, of course, but they're chocobos instead of carts. But is it like that kart racing style of like Mario Kart and Diddy Kong, where you're picking up weapons, you're like fighting each other, basically kart battling and racing at the same time?
So first of all, I think there actually are carts. I was just being facetious, but It's definitely an expansion of what the Chocobo Racing game was, the mini game in I think 7, because I remember playing it. Because you have to win races
That's for
in order to
breeding
progress
the
part of
golden chocobo. That's part of the golden chocobo quest line, right?
Yeah, I believe so. That being said, it's supposed to like there's not a lot of info about it because like it was shown at during like a Nintendo Direct. It was announced, but there's really not like a whole lot of info yet. I think there's like a little bit of gameplay video, and yeah, like it looks like a Mario Kart-esque. Like it looks very much like Mario Kart because like there's so many like bright colors and sort of that specific stylization. But as to if there's anything different or unique, I don't know if there's really offering anything in that scenario. I guess
Honestly,
it would be like the closest thing to a cartoon kart racer for, I guess. Well, no, it's probably on Nintendo too because it obviously was on the Direct, but also for like a PlayStation console.
part of me misses kart racing games. You don't really see them anymore, aside from like literally just Mario Kart.
Yeah, like there used to be Diddy Kong.
Back in the day,
Racing.
Diddy Kong Racing was amazing.
There used to
It basically
be
set the standard. There was like Crash Racing. There was
Right.
a South Park kart racing game,
Yeah.
and it was actually good too.
I think there was a Sonic one.
There was
Yeah.
like there were a ton of kart racing games. It used to be
But now you
kart
can play
racing
Garfield
games used to
Kart
be.
Racing. That's on Steam.
Oh my god.
Apparently it's a terrible game, but
Oh yeah, almost definitely. That's the other thing. There were so many kart racing games that, unfortunately, because they were a formula, but you could very easily get it wrong,
yeah.
that it eventually became oversaturated, and that's why everyone stopped making kart racing games, because they became synonymous with cheap cash grab games.
Yes.
But they were good.
I mean,
party
I would give
games.
credit to Nintendo for like Mario Kart sort of lasting the whole time and like always being looked forward to as part of their, like console releases. Like it's a big part of like the multiplayer fun game set.
The last time that I owned or played Mario Kart was the Mario Kart DS version.
That was a pretty good version. I
It
remember
was
that.
fantastic.
Mhm.
Like, not only was it Mario Kart on the DS, I think it was the first Mario Kart where there was online gameplay at all.
I think,
And
yeah,
of course that
I remember the
turned into everyone snaking constantly and lapping you and everything. So if you didn't learn that, you were basically losing games online. But there was a solid like 3 to 4 months before everyone learned how to do that you could have fun.
I remember the commercials for that because it was like I think it was a Japanese commercial. I don't think it was worldwide, but like it was essentially like I think it was a female person, maybe it was male, a very beautiful male. But like they had like a mustache on and they were like playing as each like major character like Luigi, Mario, maybe
I kind of
Waluigi or whatever.
remember.
And then there was like they would every time they would like chuck a shell at somebody and hit them, and then the camera would cut to them like looking up at the camera and smiling.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, like hold
Like they
on,
were
I
all
wanna
wearing
look
like
this-
obviously fake mustaches. And I want to say there was more than one person involved.
You think so? I think it was the same person. I really do.
Really? Okay.
Oh, I found it.
Oh.
Oh, it might be a guy.
But yeah.
I need to gonna mute this, but
Oh,
pretty sure
I
it's the same
remember
person.
that.
yeah, it's the
I
same
remember
person.
that commercial.
At least
that was a different one. You're right.
and it's a dude. It's a good looking dude though. Very good skin.
He looks kind of like what is the guy from Yakuza? Dame Dane guy?
I have never played a Yakuza. I've watched it being played, so I can't help you.
I know the song and I don't even know his name. Kiryu, that's it. Kiryu.
Oh, but Kiryu's a much beefier boy.
Yes. Well, I mean, Kiryu also wasn't cosplaying Luigi.
Yeah. That's true. But yeah, fun game, fun commercials. Chocobo Racing, probably also fun, but just it'll be interesting to see whether they introduce anything beyond the standard formula, I guess. It doesn't have to go beyond standard formula. I want to be clear, it doesn't have to go beyond the standard formula.
Well, sometimes when you pair things back enough, it leads to emergent gameplay that's better.
Also true.
Like Rocket League is probably the gold standard for that. You can steer, you can brake, you can accelerate, and you can boost.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else that happens in the game, every other like hidden tech, is just built off the physics engine and interactions between objects.
Yeah. I'm watching a video on like Chocobo Racing and just trying to see what characters there are. I swear to God, I think I see like Behemoth or something like that in a cart, which...
Oh my God.
I'm not sure if that's actually Behemoth. It looks sort of like it though.
Oh my God.
There's characters that I don't recognize.
Imagine Bahamut just riding a chocobo.
That'd be great. There'd be a lot of... There's a lot of fun they can have with the characters for sure. There's a large roster that they can use.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of things like power-ups, I'm sure they're going to try and stay away from too many. Like there will be standard ones, but I think they can have some fun with very Final Fantasy themed attacks and defenses and stuff like that. So overall, I'm sure it'll be good. It doesn't look like it has the same pace though as Mario. So
faster paced or slower paced?
It looks slower. It looks slower. But it could be because maybe they're playing on some 50cc sort of level, like super easy, but it just looked not as like energetic somehow. But it's not released yet, so who knows? Who knows how much more they could do.
You know what else isn't released yet? Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier. I remember we were talking about this last year.
Yes, because it's a mobile game.
It's the mobile game, and it's also a battle royale.
Yes.
It's basically PUBG, but soldier themed.
I mean, sure. I don't play mobile games, so I was gonna say I don't see myself playing this or trying this anyways.
Not gonna lie, I don't see last year when we were talking about it, I was mildly excited for it. Yeah. I was like, yeah, it could be fun. Now the only mobile game that I was playing, Fate Go. Mm-hmm. I'm not even playing that anymore. I just have no desire to play games on my phone at all.
Mm.
And like, I don't know.
You know, there are many, many Final Fantasy fans, and there are many, many Battle Royale fans. I will say that this is not necessarily a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. The time for Battle Royale games, the heyday, as it were, has passed. That's part of the problem.
Like, basically, the only Battle Royales that are left now are Apex and Fortnite. Fortnite is memed to death. They are trying to do different things to remain relevant.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, Epic has so much money that whatever. Fortnite will never die. Apex, people love Apex.
Sure.
Yes. But I don't know if a mobile battle royale, how well it'll work.
Well, I'm sure. I think a lot of there are other games. I can't name them off the top of my head, but I know that there's other mobile battle royales. But I just remember like when PUBG first came out and when Fortnite came out, and there was a rush. There was a rush to get into the genre.
Oh yeah.
Now this is well past that rush.
Oh
some
yeah.
could say. Because we are fickle, and like 3 years ago or whatever it was, or 2 years ago, no, it was like 3 or 4 years ago. That was like the battle royale, again, like sort of.
I remember that I
upgraded
to the GTX 1060,
yes,
so that I could run PUBG at least 30 frames per second.
Yeah, but I think that like they're not trying necessarily to tag on. But they are trying to tag on, but it's too late to tag on. So this game either has to be like exceptional or just is for Final Fantasy fans, period. But then you could just make a different game. You didn't have to do this if it was just for Final Fantasy fans.
That's the thing. Like, it's going to be barely Final Fantasy-ish because it's based around the whole soldier program that Cloud Strife was in. You're not playing as Cloud. You're playing as some random nameless soldier. Mm-hmm. The world, and if there's mobs, I don't know if there are or not, will be Final Fantasy themed. But beyond that, like its only chance is to actually be exceptionally good, or at least the best battle royale available on mobile.
I have never known Square Enix to make a exceptionally good game.
Ooh.
I'm kidding.
Ooh. Rude. Wow. Wow.
No, I mean, I guess they have a chance at it. The other thing is there is definitely a sector for mobile games, like a audience for mobile games, but that is still more of a niche than your general gaming group. So I really just don't know how many people this will appeal to. I assume this is also probably free to play. And
I assume that this will be much larger in Japan than it will be in North America.
Yeah. I don't know. At the end of the day, I guess I don't really have much to say about it other than maybe it'll be successful, but I sort of don't care. So
fair.
Yeah. We can move on. There's lots of TGS stuff.
Yeah.
One that I really wanted to talk about was near and dear to my heart, Monster Hunter Rise, which has already come out on console because I don't know why Capcom cannot release games on console and PC at the same time. I do not understand.
I heard part of it was some sort of exclusivity deal with Nintendo, but
perhaps that might be true. But
I don't
it does
know.
not matter. It's coming now to on January 22nd. Not the 22nd of January. In January 2022. I should clarify.
January 2022.
On the Steam, and I will.
Are
be
we in
playing
2021?
Yeah, and I mean, I know Rise looks fun. I know I've heard great things about Rise, so I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it. Just like I was looking forward to get my hands on World when it was also behind the times releasing for PC. And the Sunbreak expansion's already been announced for console in summer 2022.
Oh,
that looks great. I am happy just to have another mainline Monster Hunter in my life because I played World for over 700 hours.
Oh my God.
So I'm down for more fun, good times.
God damn.
On my PC that I've spent a lot of money on. So I need to play games on it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, there's not too much news there, to be honest. That's just something that I wanted to reveal and share.
This one thing by Sega sounds mildly interesting, but it also sounds like a horrible idea.
I really just put it in there because I was like, Sega did something that wasn't Sonic.
Sega did a thing. They
because
revealed.
I want to make sure that
Chronicle.
This is under. Yeah, it's Sin Chronicle. I don't like. I wouldn't have put it on here because it's a mobile game as well, and we've already sort of explained that we're not in a general. We have a general disdain for mobile games.
So,
but it's just because it was Sega doing something. I was like, wow, good for you for branching out.
True, but it's a mobile RPG, and the catch is that player decisions can only be made once.
Mm-hmm. Which means
on
it's
one
cloud
hand,
saves, I assume.
That's interesting. On the other hand, that's kind of horrible, and they're probably going to see people making multiple accounts just to see what happened. Mm-hmm. So, again, my biggest mobile game experience has been Fate Go. And to a different extent, Genshin Impact. The choices that you make in those games are effectively meaningless. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't matter what dialogue option you chose. And in some cases, the dialogue options, even having a choice, is irrelevant because it uses both dialogue options to actually say the whole thing they mean to say. Mm-hmm. So from that perspective, a game where the dialogue options or the choices you make actually have
Quote, unquote,
weight
matter.
or bearing or reason to exist, hey, that's kind of cool. It adds to the experience. But in a traditional game, I understand why Fate Go and Genshin do this, because you can't really go back and replay the story. Like, the only way to do that is to start a new account. So they want to have kind of a guided experience. Everyone gets, for the most part, the same experience. And the only difference is sometimes there will be a little bit of a text flavor difference. So if the game plays wildly differently based on decisions that can only ever be made once, that means that not only I bet there's going to be some kind of gacha mechanic, not only a player experience is going to be gated by the gacha mechanic, but they're also going to be gated by whatever dialogue options they chose. The biggest thing is that I feel like they are going to be putting players into shitty situations that the player would never have been able to see coming, and that
Possibly.
they can't fix or change. Like one of my favorite games that actually had real choices mattering was Tales of Symphonia, where it's like, oh, story is telling me to go this way. I'm going to go the other way instead. And because you did that, because you made that one choice, because you decided to go in the opposite direction, different events in the story happen in different orders, and the story can become wildly harder, or you can unlock different ends or different side quests because of it. And so Sega's putting people into a situation where they might make an ill-informed choice, or there might literally be no information behind the choice, and they might miss out on something really cool.
Like, I watched the trailer for this, and I was like, the game looks standard, I have to say. Like, it doesn't look bad in any way. The graphics look
Is it
fine.
Raid Shadow
The
Legends
art
with a
looks
different
fine.
name?
I don't know enough about that game to say yes or no.
Same.
But
everything that I know about Raid Shadow Legends, I learned through advertisements.
like, I think it, again, the art design at least, and is all on point. Well, on point as in it's almost generic, because we all know what JRPG characters look like at this point.
Oh yeah,
And they don't look any different than those expectations. Like, it's good
spiky
art.
hair.
Don't get me wrong. I want to be clear. It's good art. It's just that it clearly follows its style, like, guidelines, and it's like, wow.
I'm going to guess. I haven't looked at anything about this game
because of it, right?
I'm going to guess spiky hair with a name like Sin Chronicle. The spiky hair is probably like slicked down. Instead of
you're so
instead
right.
of like up, not up like Cloud. It's going to be down like Dante
Here,
from DMC Devil May Cry. And it does he have white hair?
The trailer. This is the trailer, but I copy the URL at a specific time. You can see, I think that the white hair is the main character.
They literally do.
Yeah.
Do they actually?
It's sort of a spiky hair, right? But then it's slicked down. It's a lot of strands, anyways. But anyway, like I said, it sort of looks generic. Not a bad thing. It's clearly on a cloud save system, and it's probably on mobile because cloud saves can be worked around on like PC or even consoles.
On mobile, cloud save is for the most part the only way to go.
This is also true, but like, I think that's how they're locking people into their decisions. But you know what's weird though is, like, you know how you were saying, like, you know, in Genshin that would mean you're going to make someone make a new character to get like new dialogue, or see what the other decision branches are. For this game, you would have to restart, and then there's also a real chance that like you almost lack replayability by not being able to go back easier on your choices.
You absolutely do.
Like, people don't necessarily want to, like, unless they love a game. I don't see a lot of people replaying a game from the very beginning to get 2 or 3 different branches cleared, you know? Like
And that's the
that's
thing,
dedication.
real old AAA games, and like I want to use Tales Symphonia as an example. You get to the end, you beat it, and then there's a new game plus. And you can
Right.
go back, you can replay the story, you can go through the different branches. You get to keep a lot of what you got from the first time around. In mobile games, there's usually not an end. Like
True.
2 years ago, 2 years ago, Fate Go was saying that they were going to end. They haven't ended yet. They're not going to end. They print money. They just have to keep going. Once they finish off the current story that they're trying to tell, they come up with a new story. That's what they've done basically 2 times so far. There was the original Singularities, and then they had the pseudo Singularities, which is bridging into the Lost Belts. The Lost Belts have been going on for the last 3 years, I want to say. I don't remember exactly. And once that happens, it's Fate Go. They're printing money, and they're going to keep it going as long as they can. There will be another story after the Lost Belts, even though several people have said we don't really think there is going to be. It's going to happen. And so Sin Chronicle, if it's anything like other gacha or just mobile games in general, it's not going to have an exact end. It's not going to have a new game plus. It's not going to have replayability. It's just going to have continual play. And it just seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going to go with it, but like I said, good job, Sega. You've branched out to something that's not Mr.
Non-hedgehog
Eggman
related.
Yeah. So it'll be, like I said, we'll see if it'll be fun. The number one thing that people really hate right now isn't the game. It's funny enough, they hate that it's only on mobile.
Fair.
Yeah. They've gotten a lot of
Like
criticism.
every criticism that I've made so far, all of them stem from the game being on mobile. And not just because it's on phone, but just the tropes and expectations of mobile games lead to that being a bad idea. If it were on console or PC, I would just say, oh, well, that's nothing new, but okay. Good for them.
Onwards. This is not
So
a
this
TGS
literally
thing.
happened.
We're leaving TGS now. Goodbye.
This
Goodbye,
happened
Chiba.
like 2 or 3 hours ago.
Yes. The
From time of
long-awaited
recording.
final character.
The
in
final smash.
the Super Smash Brothers.
The final Smash Brother.
It is Sora from
Yes.
Kingdom Hearts. Makes
Kingdom
sense.
Hearts Sora.
Makes sense. I get it. I've
Well-
never really played, but I get it.
What's weird to me about this is how many times has Sora been on a Nintendo console?
Lots of times.
Like 3 times, maybe.
No, probably like 6 or 7. Because you're forgetting all the handheld games.
Those are the only ones that I know of, honestly. Because Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 were on PlayStation 2. And then there was Chain of Memories, which is the only one that I've played on the Game Boy Advance. There was 1 or 2 more on the DSs, if I remember right. Was there anything on the Wii or the Wii U or the Switch?
That's a great question. But here's the answer for you.
Because like
I
Kingdom
don't
Hearts
know
3
how
was
many games
PS4.
individually, but these are the platforms that Kingdom Hearts has been on. Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, Nintendo 3DS, Switch.
Yeah. Is
But
the
there could be
Switch
both.
now?
But I mean, that's at least 4 games, I assume.
That's fair. That's fair. And you know
So-
what? Being on a Nintendo console hasn't been a requirement since
Well,
Snake
I
got
was gonna
onto Smash
Snake.
Bros. Brawl.
Yeah.
Like Snake was the character that really opened up the floodgates, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, don't forget, there's like Pac-Man. Like, yes, Pac-Man's probably been on Nintendo, and like,
Well, that's the thing. Like Snake has also been on a Nintendo.
mhm.
Snake was on Snake was on the NES in
Yes.
Metal Gear.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I think it's a good character choice. even though I've never really gotten into Kingdom Hearts, like I know if you're a nerd, you're a gaming nerd, you know at least a little bit about Kingdom Hearts and at least like Sora and some of the characters. Sora's a good choice.
Absolutely, he's a good choice.
Really, I think I've said this on the podcast before. I still wish that Spyro was a character in Smash because he just feels like he fits.
Spyro would have fit. Reimu would have fit.
Reimu.
Reimu for Smash.
Yeah. I was
the
reading,
dream is over.
I wasn't reading a lot of articles on this per se, but I was kind of going through just because like I want more reactions than news on this kind of announcement.
Oh
right?
my god!
And I
the
was
best
looking up on
reaction I
Twitter.
got
Yeah.
was a VTuber friend of mine yesterday. Yesterday they were saying, I will give away 100 gift subs and eat a ghost pepper because that is how certain I am. Sora is not getting announced tomorrow morning.
Oof. What channel do I have to subscribe to get 100 part of the 100 subs?
So yeah, boy. He is now liable for $500 worth of Twitch subs and has to find somewhere that sells ghost peppers.
Nice.
Yes.
Imagine betting your whole life.
I know, right?
One of the fun things, well, fun's not the right word, but like interesting things that makes a lot of sense is that they showed off some like gameplay of him being on his stage. And like in the background, there's sort of like this almost like a mosaic. And it's like Sora, and then there's like a bunch of characters that are in these little circles. But like, so there's obviously Kingdom Hearts is intricately tied with Disney, but Kingdom Hearts technically is its own IP first, and Disney just integrated into it. And it's funny because in the stage mosaic in the background, it's Sora with a bunch of Kingdom Hearts characters. But the original mosaic that actually exists, because there's art of that, actually has Disney characters. It has Goofy and Donald, which people know, obviously, they're sort of mainstay party characters. But they removed them because they're Disney property. And I'm kind of upset about that.
I can imagine. I can imagine it right now. Mm-hmm. The heavy weapons guy walks into a room. He sets a rodent on a table. He sits down and looks into the camera. It cost $400,000 to show this mouse for 12 seconds.
It's true. But yeah, I posted a link for you to look at, but you can see very clearly the omission.
Oh my god, what?
Yeah.
What? They kept Riku and Kairi, moved them around, and instead of Donald and Goofy, they just put random bullshit.
They added a raft and
a star with tassels.
I think that's supposed to be like the starfruit thing that is in the game, but I don't know for sure. It just looks like a star with tassels. So you're right.
They could have put like some of the Organization 13 dudes in there, or there's so many other Kingdom Hearts specific characters that they could have thrown in.
It's true. They could have also put in Final Fantasy characters because that's
they could have. They could have put Cloud and Sephiroth in there. Why not?
Yeah.
Imagine Sora being chosen for Smash. He shows off, and Sephiroth is there. What? Yeah. How does he react? What do?
I think it's a good addition. I think it's a long time coming addition. I'm still sad that Spyro's not in there. I've never even really played Spyro. I just really like the idea of Spyro being in a Smash Bros. Game.
Man. You know what blew my mind? When after hearing for like 2.5 years when I was working retail, people begging for Skylanders toys and we never had them in. Then I go and look it up and find out it's a Spyro property.
That's a good question.
But no, it's real. Skylanders is a spin-off of Spyro the Dragon.
I sort of knew that, I guess. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. And that just seems so weird.
I mean, who makes Spyro again?
I don't even remember. It's been a long, long time.
I don't know either. but okay. Yeah, I guess I don't have much else to say on it. Good. I hope the people who want to play it are happy. Sora's here. He's got his big feet and too many belts and a keyblade, which is, I mean, a key's never been sharp that I know of, but hey, that's how the game goes.
It doesn't need to be sharp when it's the size of a keyblade.
It's true.
Like,
and
there's
his
so
final
much
smash
blunt
is
force
sealing
mass.
the keyhole. So
Sealing the
do
keyhole.
with that what you will.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds dirty.
Yeah. We don't have too much time left, so we can talk about...
Tell us about the Miyavi concert.
Oh, sure. Miyavi, for people who are uncultured swine.
Like me.
Yeah. Is a J-rocker. He is sort of... He's associated with like Visual K type acts, but he's very much like he used to do some stuff with, I think, like oh my god, I can't remember right now. X Japan?
Okay.
I don't remember. Someone's gonna have to yell at me. But anyways,
engagement challenge. Yell at Jay in the comments.
That's true. Anyway, he came to Calgary to start his tour. Yes, there are concerts in pandemic, and it was sort of nerve-wracking to go because this was sort of like an on sort of on the whim kind of thing, but it was at the UFC. It was a small venue. There was maybe about 350 people maximum. But like when you go in there, it's like, oh wow, that's a crowd. But I mean, like obviously you have to make sure you show your Vax card and like have a mask on and all that kind of stuff. And it was a really good show. Like there was a group of us from Otafest people, including Dio and Jenny and Paige, and we kind of started hang off at the side first, sort of because like there was a crowd and they were like up against the stage and like, you know, enjoying a concert like in a regular manner, shall we say. But I think we were a little bit hesitant. But then as the person I am, I was like, as the show went on, and it was a really good show because Miyavi is a heck of an entertainer. I made my way into the crowd and I eventually brought Otafest people into the crowd, and it didn't feel bad at all.
Nice.
No one I know got sick, so that's always a good thing too. But it was just so fun, and honestly, one of the best nights I've had in a long time. That felt relatively normal. And again, Miyavi was like very good entertainer. He was like, I guess you could say he was a little bit rusty too. There was like a little bit of like jet lag, plus like just getting back into it, doing a live show in general. And he acknowledged that, but it wasn't like anything bad. He speaks a fair bit of English because I don't know how much English he's specifically learned, but I know his wife is sort of American Japanese, so I'm sure like he knows a bit from that as well.
That's pretty cool.
He's I'm a fan. I went in not knowing that much about him, but now I am.
You came
I have
out
his music
covered in Miyavi merch.
I added his song. I added some of his songs.
Two
to my
different
list.
Miyavi hats on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had a Miyavi band shirt.
He sold out.
Miyavi
he sold
lanyard.
out of merch.
You had one of the CDs clipped to the lanyard.
We couldn't get merch. The VIPs bought it all before anyone else could.
Oh my god, they needed to buy more.
But good for
Bring
them.
More.
Good for them, though. Seriously.
Good for them.
Yeah.
They probably didn't expect to sell out.
Not right off the bat, I bet. But
wow.
Honestly, I know like Dio had a great time. It seemed like everyone had a good time.
Dio had a fantastic time.
Yeah. And we went to McDonald's after. A little post-concert snacko.
Nice.
It was good. I don't know what else to say about that. It was just sort of a reminder of before times. It still felt relatively safe because it was crowded but not crowded. I don't know how to explain it.
It sounds like it was about as good as it could be.
Yeah, it really was. And I hope that, I mean, that's my experience. I hope that people are able to experience the same soon for themselves. You know, while still feeling safe. That's a big thing. That is a sort of guideline that's different for everybody, but I hope that you can feel safe doing semi-normal things again and enjoy them, like, honestly, because it was such a good time. It was such a good concert.
Yes.
And it makes me thirsty for more. So hopefully by the time Otafest rolls around, we will be more comfortable with everything and things will be safe.
There better not be some bullshit variant. Otafest must happen.
Goddamn Loki and his variants.
I am not enthused for the Ligma variant.
That's already passed. We're in Moo.
I don't even know
Ligma
what that
passed.
means.
Ligma passed already. That's before M. Anyways, thank you all for listening. We will talk about many other interesting things next episode. And Nancy might be back, so I'm sure you should say hi. We'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye.